Right now at 6, a burst of snow falls on the Portland metro.
But it was still just very flaky, nothing too crusty or icy. It's pretty nice.
I'm John Adams. Coming up here at 6, a tentative agreement is reached between Providence and the Oregon Nurses Association that could end a month-long strike. What nurses on the picket line told me today.
Then a disturbing trend in Clark County, where authorities say someone is shooting rabbits with blow darts.
They missed a rabbit. What if they hit somebody's pet? What if they hit somebody's child?
And later, the Blazers keep their hot streak going, and Orlando has the big challenge and reveal of your Friday Night Hoops game of the week.
Good evening, everyone. David Mulco here with you on this Wednesday as we begin with that burst of snow that moved through the Portland metro this morning. And while it didn't stick downtown or in lots of spots on the valley floor, all it took was a little bit of elevation to see a little accumulation. Right now at 6, we're sitting at 39 degrees and dropping in the Rose City, heading into what's going to be another chilly night, which means those roads and bridges that are wet now could once again become an issue in the morning. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafino in the Weather Center with the latest. Matt?
Yeah, we want to root for the cloud cover to hang in there because that'll keep us warm enough and prevent a all-out freeze on the roads in the morning. We're still at 40 right now. South winds at 9 miles an hour also helping to keep us warmer. But we'll call tomorrow morning weather impact alert for the potential for icy spots on the roads. And there's a chance it won't be icy too. This is not a guarantee. We'll have to see how low the temperatures go. Now, of course, the big story today was the snowfall. Had 4 inches in Stevenson, Chinook, Washington, up in Pacific County, 6.5 inches there. But more typical were amounts like what we saw in Gaston with an inch there. Corvallis also about an inch of snow. Look at the temperatures right now. Mid-30s in Washington County, 34 Happy Valley. So we're not that far from freezing. But again, if the clouds hang in there, we really won't drop much. There are still snow showers and rain showers out there, but no accumulations expected on the valley floor overnight tonight. So we're in pretty good shape going forward. The headlines look like this. Rain and snow showers end overnight. Icy areas are possible on the roads in the morning. Check back at 11 o'clock. We'll let you know how the temperatures are doing. And then staying cold with the potential for more snow showers Friday night. But again, that doesn't look like a sticking snowfall for the valley floor. David?
Hey, no ice would be really nice. Thank you, Matt. Meanwhile, the biggest headache for drivers today was this truck that overturned just north of the I-5-405 split near downtown that shut down northbound I-405 and caused backups in multiple directions after it spilled debris all over the place. Joe Ranieri joins us live near that scene. Joe, no one was injured, but the cleanup and the jam up went on for hours. Walk us through what we know here.
Yeah, you would think this was all because of the slick roads from this morning, but this accident actually took place before some of those snow showers started to roll through. But this is where that accident happened a little before 6 o'clock this morning as that truck was coming northbound along I-5. Well, the crash happened when the driver of this metal recycling truck rolled over and spilled everything in the back of the truck. Now, debris was scattered all over the freeway and even fell below along South Harbor Drive underneath the overpass. Luckily, nobody was driving their car when the debris fell.
The contents just spilled out everywhere. They were carrying, it was carrying scrap truck parts, and they proved to be very mobile.
And now again, David, Rick Graves with Portland Fire and Rescue told me earlier today he doesn't think it was weather related. His crews came out here on the scene and they didn't have any issues walking to check on the driver of the truck. But he seems to think something in the back of that truck kind of shifted and pushed that truck to roll over. But thankfully, the driver of that truck was not injured, and nor was anybody below along South Harbor earlier this morning. Back to you.
Yeah, very close call. Joe Ranieri along the interstate tonight. Thanks, Joe. In your headlines, a Marion County jury has found a semi-truck driver guilty of 7 counts of manslaughter. In May of 2023, 54-year-old Lincoln Smith was driving a semi-truck northbound on I-5 near Albany when prosecutors say he drove off the road at full speed, hitting a parked van with 11 people inside and pushing it into the back of another semi-truck. 7 people were killed, all of them farm workers. Prosecutors say a trooper found drugs in Smith's belongings, and he later tested positive for meth, cocaine, and fentanyl. Defense attorneys argue that Smith was tired and fell asleep while trying to pull off I-5. Smith will be sentenced at a later date. A Portland man is behind bars after he allegedly robbed 2 Washington County Dottie's locations at gunpoint. The first happened just after midnight on Monday morning in Tualatin. Police say 28-year-old Marshall Richmond IV ordered an employee to open the safe and register and then made off with cash and lottery tickets. Then, around 24 hours later, workers at a Dottie's in Beaverton recognized Richmond from a photo shared with them as he walked in armed with a handgun. Richmond tried to make a run for it, police say, though authorities caught up. They say they believe he may have been involved in other recent robberies along the Portland Metro. Well, you can't hear it there, but that is the moment the wing of a Japan Airlines plane, a Dreamliner, clipped a Delta 737 on the ground this morning in Seattle. Passengers say the JAL flight had just landed and was taxiing while waiting for an open gate. While the Delta plane was being de-iced, no injuries were reported. Passengers on board the Delta plane, which was bound for Puerto Vallarta, were bussed back to the terminal and then put on a new aircraft. The FAA says it is investigating. We're getting new reaction tonight to a tentative agreement that could finally end the largest healthcare worker strike in Oregon history. John Adams is live at Providence, Portland, one of 8 hospitals where thousands of nurses have been on strike for over 3 weeks now. So, John, what are you hearing tonight?
Well, David, good evening. Even though this tentative agreement was reached through mediation, nurses that I spoke to here on the picket lines outside of Providence, Portland, told me today they're going to vote against it. Rain, snow flurries, and near freezing temperatures didn't stop Providence, Portland nurses from manning the picket line on Wednesday. 27 days into the strike, a tentative deal has been reached between the two sides, but nurses here say it's not good enough.
We were disappointed initially, and now we're mad.
The same exact agreement that they wanted to give us in October is what they're offering us now, with a few more supplemental increases, but nothing of significant value.
The tentative agreement was reached after Governor Tina Kotek called on both sides to get back to the bargaining table after negotiations stalled during the opening weeks of the strike. It includes wage increases and addresses some staffing concerns, but will not give nurses full retroactive pay or new contract expiration dates.
I hope that our nurses have a resounding no today, and I hope that that puts them in their place a little bit, that what they're offering is not acceptable and we need more.
Some progress has been made with certain Providence groups. Earlier this week, around 80 healthcare workers at Providence Women's Clinic ratified an agreement to end their labor dispute. They will return to work on Thursday. Negotiations continue with hospitalists at Providence St. Vincent. Providence declined the invitation to speak with us on camera today about the tentative agreement. Nurses here say Providence still isn't appreciating all they have done for the health system over the years.
All of the hard work and time that we've put into our heart and soul working at this hospital and for this health system, it really doesn't seem to amount to anything in the eyes of our employer.
Nurses will be voting on Thursday and Friday whether or not they will accept or decline this tentative agreement. Nurses at Providence Medford will have their time extended into Saturday due to bad weather in southern Oregon. David?
Yeah, sounds like some nurses are willing to stick it out. We'll see what happens. Thank you, John. Developing this evening, several rabbits in a Vancouver neighborhood have been euthanized after they were hit by blow darts. And now there is a reward to find out who is responsible. Devin Haskins talked with a couple neighbors who found some of the animals injured.
Neighbors have been finding these darts in their front yards over the last couple of months. In fact, here's 17 of them. They're about the size of $1 and very sharp. And that's what has neighbors and animal control very concerned.
Those that live in the Ogden neighborhood in Vancouver are used to seeing rabbits in their front yard.
When I first moved in, there was an infestation of them. They were everywhere.
Ryan Scott says the number has dwindled over the years, but what's concerning to him is the amount of rabbits he's seen lately pierced by a blow dart and the amount of darts he and his neighbors have all found.
We got more than a dozen of them, and these are just the ones I kept.
Since November, Animal Control says they've received 10 reports of a rabbit struck by one of these darts.
Some of them, we've had a couple in the abdomen, a couple around the rear end of the rabbits.
And of the 10 that were shot,
oh my God, I didn't realize there were so many.
8 have been euthanized.
Oh my God.
Madeline Atwood trapped 2 bunnies.
And then this is the blow dart.
One in November, another in December.
It's horrible because, had we not caught him, who knows how long he would have suffered for.
She and her husband helped rehab one they called Butternut. who was shot in the ear. The other was shot in the back leg and given over to animal control.
So I saw him in my backyard and I saw something poking through his ear. It was like orange at the end.
Animal control doesn't know who's responsible. They don't think poison's being used, but the amount hit and the extra darts found is very concerning to them.
If they're going to dart a rabbit, they missed a rabbit. What if they hit somebody's pet? What if they hit somebody's child?
And to catch who's ever responsible for doing this, the Animal Legal Defense Fund is offering a $5,000 reward that leads to the arrest and conviction. In Vancouver, I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.